end of the track. So that's Lake Daniell's, or Lake Daniell actually. There's a hut warden's quarters, because over the summertime they always have a hut warden up here, and you can't see in through the door, but they've got like 2 bunks in there and all the amenities that they might need. That's the side door into the mudroom. And then these are the toilets out the back of the hut. They've got these fancy composting toilets. It composts down to like a dry waste, and then they scatter it in selected places through the forest. There's a mudroom off to the side of the hut for you to put your your wet gear on. So, you know, your tramping boots, and I've got my jacket hanging up over there. Yep. And if you're using hut tickets, there's the place where you put your hut tickets. So this is the interior of Lake Daniell Hut. So you've got a big area, cooking area, living area here. I've got the electric lights turned on because it's really dark, and then there's one bunk room there. And then you have another bunk room at the back here. And so this hut holds 24 people. Yeah. Plenty of space in here, lots of tables. There's a really nice veranda out the front of the hut, which I'll go out and I'll show you. Hut's only 2 years old. It's got water inside, no gas cookers. It's on the Department of Conservation hut booking system, so you definitely know you'll have a place to sleep if you come up here. This is the veranda at the front of Lake Daniell's Hut, looking out over the lake. So there's a picnic table there, and then this is the campsite out the front here. So space for like maybe about, maybe up to 10 tents. And then you can always set your tent up in the forest if you can find a spot. And then they've actually got like a campsite shelter over there with water and a picnic table inside. So if you're camping here, you can actually sit in there and eat your meals. Yeah, excellent. There's numerous water tanks at this hut. There's 2 big water tanks there. There's another couple of water tanks behind that all feed off the roof of the hut. And then there's actually a water tank over there for the campsite as well. So, you know, lots of water supplies. So that's Lake Daniell's. Lots of rain falling at the moment. Wet and rainy day today. I'm going to go and cut some firewood in a minute, and then I'll get the fire going. So there's no wood in the woodshed, so I've got enough firewood in there probably to keep the fire going for a couple of hours. So that's what I'll do, is I'll just put it on later when it gets cold. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing because last time I was up here it was completely full of wood. There's very little firewood, so I've cut up what I could. I might be able to get the fire going. I've got some paper and some fire starters. So if I can get the fire started, like I'll put it on later, like maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock. Yeah, but there's not very much wood there at all. Just boiling some water for a cup of tea. I'm using my MSR wind burner stove today. I've got the window open, so you should always have the window open when you're lighting the stove, or when you're operating the stove. I should have probably got the water first. I've got 2 canisters of gas with me, so it's overkill. Overkill when it comes to gas, but you know, I thought I had an inkling that there might not be any firewood up here, so lots of people come up, lots of families and school groups and that kind of thing. Yeah, and they're all going to be lighting the fire, as they should. I'm fairly certain I've got the hut to myself tonight. I'm the only bocking, but you know, sometimes you just get people turning up. I'm having a cooked breakfast. I'll show you what it looks like once I've cooked it. Once I put the water in. While I'm waiting for my freeze dryer to warm up, I'll just make myself a cup of tea. So the old MSR wind burner holds a litre of water, so that's actually enough to make a single serve backcountry meal, and also there's enough for a hot drink as well. And you know, normally I carry my other kit with me because sometimes I like to cook food. These things are really only for heating water up. You can't really do much else with them. You can cook in them, but you just have to be really careful when you clean the insides of them out, because they're anodized aluminium, and you know, if you use a scrubbing pad on them or like a cleaning brush, you're going to scratch the inside, and then like eventually it juices. Yeah. You have to use those special blue scrubbing pads made for like non-stick frying pans and that kind of thing. Yeah, which I don't have. I forgot to cut a piece of that off. I've got like one of the green ones, but I can't use that on that. So like, I'll just have to, I've got a Chuck's cloth. I'll just have to use the Chuck's cloth for like cleaning it out if I need to clean it out from the inside. The water in Lake Daniell is really shallow. I've been swimming in here in the middle of summertime, and you can walk a good 100 metres out there and the water is still only waist deep. Yeah, so excellent swimming. And like I was saying, there's fish in here. Last time I was here, some people were fishing and they caught some trout. They actually had trout for dinner. So there's the hut in the distance. Classic view, that one. I'll go in and start the fire if I can get it to go. Yeah, you can see how clear that water is, and it's really, really shallow. Sometimes you can see eels swimming around the piles on the bottom of this wharf that I'm standing on. Yeah. So what you want to do is close the door a little bit, just to get a bit of a draw going. Normally what I do is I'll close it like that, because what it does is it sucks air in through the front. So the fire starters have started. So I don't want to put any wood on until I've got a really good flame going, and then once the flame's going you can put some pieces of wood on. Yeah, so there you go. So that worked that time, and then you know what I'll do is I'll try putting some of these bigger pieces of wood on once there's a bed of really hot ashes in there. But the thing is, don't pile wood on there until it's going properly, because you'll just kill it. Yeah, you want it really blazing before you start sticking wood on, especially when it's a wee bit wet. Yeah, so I put my soup in. You only have to cook it for, says on the packet to simmer it for 10 to 15 minutes, but actually what you do is you heat it up for 5 minutes and then just put it aside for 10 minutes and it's fine. I gave that pot a good scrub out before I used it, because you can never be sure how clean people have left the pots they leave in the huts. Yeah, so always clean them before you use them. The Department of Conservation have started putting these bars on top of the wood burners to stop people from using them from heating water up and stuff, because obviously when you put a pot of cold water on there, you're basically wasting the heat energy of the stove. Yeah, and it's a fire hazard as well. Yeah, so my soup's ready to go, so I'll sit down and start drinking my soup, eating my soup, and make a cup of tea, and then I'll come back over and have a look at the freeze-dried meal when the time's expired. Yeah, just to see if I need to add some more water or whatever. So what I'll do is I'll tear the bag down like I did with the last one, so I can use it as an eating bowl. The advantage of doing that is that you don't have dishes to do, which is the advantage of all freeze-dried meals over actual cooked food. You don't have a whole lot of pots to clean. Yeah, so I'll just show you what it looks like. Yeah, it's not too bad. But like I say, you know, you can pep it up with some additives like tomato paste, olives, whatever you might like to have. we'll sit down and we'll tuck into our dinner. I'm going to add some salt and pepper to this. Yeah. Ready to tuck into my dinner. Got my soup, got my pasta. Orange drink to have with it. Made myself a cup of tea as well. Yeah. That's good. So I just add my salt and pepper. It's just a bit of a disadvantage in this hut not having the lights over where you're eating because you can't really see. If you go to a lot of these huts, and especially Great Walk huts, there'll be enough lights in them to light up the whole living area. It's a better situation, but you know, because this hut gets quite a bit of use, if you had more lights in here, would the power last for everybody that was coming in? Probably not. Yep, just did our soup here. Yeah, that's delicious. This trip is the first of my winter series for 2022. I started doing them last year, like going for trips over the winter time. Prior to last year, I tended not to go tramping over the winter months, but I thought about it last year, and there's actually a whole lot of different places that you can go to that are safe to tramp to even in the winter time. Yeah, so last year I went to Rod Donald Hut. I came for a trip up here because this will be like my base, my first winter trip, and I also walked into Lake Daniell up at Nelson Lakes National Park. Yeah, the Nelson Lakes National Park, that wasn't fantastic. There was no wood in the woodshed, so it was very, very cold up there. They had snow up on the top of the mountains. And the water lines to the hut froze, so I actually had to climb up on top of the water tank and undo the screws so that I could get water out of the top of the water tank. Yeah, not fantastic. Yeah, but the other two were fine. So this year, this is the first one. I've also got a trip planned up to Abel Tasman National Park in August. I'm going to be walking from Tautranui, from Anchorage to Tautranui, because that's the only section I haven't covered on these vlogs, and I'll take some videos when I'm up there and basically put them up once I'm able to. Yeah, and here obviously, and I'm also thinking about Woolshed Creek Hut down Mount Summers Way, because that's about a 2.5 hour walk. They get snow there sometimes, so I have to be a bit careful about that one. Yeah, and like I'm casting around thinking about some other ideas. Packles Hut is a possibility. There's a few huts up in Blenheim, round Blenheim, and up in Tasman that are possible to go to at winter time. I just have to say, it depends on the weather. The weather last year was warm and sunny. It's been forecast to be the same this year, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. So this will be the first in a series for this year. So make sure you come back, because there'll be more trips like this over. Washed the dishes, and I've got my bed all ready to go for tonight. I'll probably just sit, and there's a pile of magazines here. I'll read some magazines. Yeah, I bring books with me and try to read them when I'm on longer tramps and leave them in the huts. I bought a couple of Ian Rankin Rebus books and I'll leave them here when I leave tomorrow. Magazines are better in this kind of situation because you can just kind of pick them up, drop them, pick them up, you know. You don't have to like try to pick up in a book where you've read and, you know, trying to finish the book so that you can leave it in a hut somewhere. So I've got my sleeping area all set up. I always do that as soon as I get to the hut, so I know it's all ready to go. Yeah, so I've got my heavier weight sleeping bag with me. I'm going to be doing a vlog shortly about different sleeping bags and weights and what I carry during what season. That's a Cedar Summit 500 light, so that's good down to about -4 degrees. Always get too hot using it, but you know, when you're doing these winter tramps you need a more substantial sleeping bag than the quilt I use over the summertime. Yeah, got the place to myself, so I've kind of got my stuff, got the pack sitting there. I wouldn't normally do that if the hut was busy because it might get in someone's way. I'd probably like stick it up next to the bed, or I'm standing next to a wall, I'd stick it next to the wall where it's not going to make a problem. Yeah, I could do a massive tower of mattresses, but those new blue mattresses Doc are using are fairly comfortable, so just laying on my on the bunk. Go to bed soon. It's about 9 o'clock. It's not much to do when it gets dark. Reading. I've been reading for about the last hour and a half. Yeah. I've got a massive big pile of mattresses. I'm laying on top of 2 mattresses and I've got 2 other mattresses next to me. It's nice and soft. Lovely. Yeah. So I just I stoked the fire up and I've closed it all down and I've got it like locked down so it'll smoulder, like it'll burn real slow for the rest of the night, so you'll have heat coming out of it for probably the next 2 to 3 hours. Yeah. And then like it'll slowly go out and that way it'll burn down to ashes. Sometimes if you close them right down in the morning, if you go and you open up all the vents and you open the door a wee bit, they'll burst back into flames because all the embers are like underneath the ashes, and you know it just needs a bit of like kindling, like little small branches and stuff, and like it'll burn again. Yeah, I probably won't do that tomorrow. When I get up I'll make breakfast and get my gear on and then head for the trekking. Because it's only a couple of hours, like I won't mess around here. Yeah, better to just, I like to get up early and like just go walk the trek, like go do what I have to do, and then you know if I'm walking like a multi-day trek, I try to be out of the hut sometime between 7:30 and 8 in the morning, and then that way I'm getting to my next destination depending on the time, somewhere from 1 through to 3 in the afternoon, and that gives you enough time to do all that setup stuff like you know, chopping firewood and cooking meals and treating water and that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna read for a wee while and then I'll turn my lights off and I'll go to sleep, so see you tomorrow. Good morning, team. It's the next morning. It's about 7:20. It's really dark outside because it's misty and cloudy. Just making breakfast. So this morning I'm having one of the freeze-dried desserts. This is apple pie, and so what it basically is it's like a spicy cinnamony apple pie base, and then they give you like a packet of biscuits to crush over the top. And then I'll have what I normally have for breakfast. I have these 3-in-1 coffees. This is a Nescafe 3-in-1 coffee. I buy these from Asian food markets. Yeah, these ones were made in Singapore. So what I do when I'm waiting for my breakfast to reconstitute is I tend to pack my gear up, especially if I'm on a multi-day trip. I would normally be walking out of the hut sometime between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't normally sleep very well when I'm in a hut with a whole lot of other people. It's very warm at night time. Lots of noise, people moving around in their sleeping bags. So I'm normally awake by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I've got my packing and organising down so that I can get up, pack up all my gear, have breakfast, and be ready to go in the space of about an hour. Yeah. You just get used to doing it, and it just becomes like second nature after a while. Carrying my sleeping bag and a compression bag. I know it's not particularly good for them, but it's just to get it down to a size where it fits on the pack properly. Yeah, when you're on one of these treks going through forest, you can't leave too early anyway. I know this one up here, because I've been here before, it's too dark in the forest. Last time I came up here by myself, last year, the hut was full, completely full of people. I was the first person out the door, but I had to use my head torch for the first hour because it was too dark in the forest. I couldn't see where I was going. So sometimes it doesn't actually help you to be heading off too early. If you're on a trek that's going up on the tops, that's a wee bit different because, you know, like today, if it was a beautiful sunny day, it would be really bright, like we'd be able to see where we're going through the forest even by now. Yeah, just pack up everything, get it all ready to go, have my breakfast, yeah, and then I'll get down the trek. I'll finish packing my stuff up, and then by then breakfast should be ready, and I can show you what this apple pie looks like. Cool. Yeah, so I mixed the biscuits in and just so that you've got like a difference between the crunchy biscuits and the soft apple. It's good. So the syrup around the apple has got like fruit in it, raisins, and it's also got like cinnamon, sugar, just like a apple crumble base, or you know, all ready to go. I tidied up the fireplace. I made sure the fireplace is closed. I checked in the bedroom to make sure I haven't left any stuff behind, and stacked up the mattresses I was using last night. I've given the benches a wipe down. Yeah, so I'm all ready to go. Just got to get my boots and other bits and pieces on, and then I can head out. It's the advantage of having a mudroom for doing this in. Normally you have to put your boots on outside the hut and the sandflies are chilling on you. It's not very pleasant. Yeah, so I'm all ready to go. I've got my rain jacket on, but if I get in the forest and it's not too wet, then I'll take it off, because otherwise I'll get too hot. It's a 3-hour walk out to the car park, and then I'll be heading back to Christchurch. So let's get on our way.